Good morning and welcome to Traders 20 on ET Now. I'm Megha Chadha.
Hi everyone, I'm Avan Dabash. Well, Traders 20, as you all know, this is a show where we get you a daily dose of 20 fresh stock ideas so that you can have a profitable trading day. As always, our 6 technical experts will be with us over the next 30 minutes to identify some of the most exciting bets in the markets.
And well, along with all those equity trading ideas, we'll also be showcasing commodity picks as well as strategies that would help you make the best of the futures and options market. So let's get started then by first up introducing the 6 experts who will be joining us today on the show now. We've got Ashwini Gujral. As always, he'll be joining in from Delhi, Mitesh Thakkar from Mumbai, Kunal Bothra, Dr. C.K. Narayan, as well as Rajat Bose from Kolkata, Deepak Mohani from Pune.
Okay, straight to the equity markets. It's a bit of a struggle in the session and we still haven't managed to clasp above the 6,000 level. It's 59.75 on the index. We managed to have recovered from the lowest point of the day but still continue to remain in the red. For the Sensex, we're off by 27 points. It's 19,664 and it's the market breadth which is absolutely even Steven as we speak. On the upside, you do have healthcare as well as FMCG stocks holding up, but on the downside, it's consumer durables and metals. Those are some of your top gainers, so clearly your classic defenses holding up very smartly in the green, be it from the pharmaceutical or the FMCG pack. IT also makes an appearance, so HCL Technologies at 633. TCS also looking vibrant ahead of Infy's results, which will be declared on Friday. But on the downside, you have IDSC, that's off by close to 2%. L&T continues to linger lower in the session. Remember, yesterday it was a negative brokerage report. Metals continue to remain weak, so 132 for Hindalco. JP Associates and Tata Steel too off by 1.5%. Well, that's pretty much how the markets are shaping up today. Time to get in some market perspective then, as well as some top trading ideas for the day. We've got with us Ashwini Gujral, who now joins in from New Delhi. He joins in on the phone line, as well as Mitesh Thakkar. But here's a quick disclaimer from our end. Do remember that if you choose to take on board any recommendations, you must consult your financial advisor. On that note, let's get the ball rolling and start off by getting Ashwini on board to walk us through what he makes of the index at these levels and his top trading ideas. Ashwini.
Yeah, hi. The market is showing some short-term weakness. It's not looking very weak, as in the momentum on the downside has not picked up either. But clearly below 59.80, a short-term downtrend may have started. So for the day, we could remain weak. So financial technologies a sell with a stop about 1150, target of 1080. Videocon Industries a sell with a stop about 240, target of 218. Then Larsen is a sell with a stop about 1580, target of 1525. The only buy here is Sun Pharma, which is a buy with a stop about 750, target of 772.
Okay, so Ashwini is recommending 3 shorts and 1 long in the session right now. Mitesh, it's the second consecutive day of profit booking that we're witnessing for the market. So do you think one should maintain a cautionary stance on the Nifty? And what would you recommend in this light?
I would agree. I think, on the Nifty one, after the breakout beyond 5930, 5950, the follow-up wasn't very strong. And I think yesterday, as well as today, I think, we are seeing some kind of subdued as well as a downward grind on the markets. We've talked about 5970 as the key intraday pivot. I think below that, we would like to reduce long exposure, which we have already started doing. Therefore, I think traders should now approach the market with both long as well as short positions in the short term, at least for the next few days. I've got a buy on Dr. Reddy's where we have seen some fresh intraday buy signals as the stock breaks into all-time highs. I think it's moved up in the last 30 minutes, but can be bought with a stop below 1875 for a target of 1950, which can be revised to even levels of around 2000. L&T is a sell around the 1567, 1570 mark with a stop of 1591 for a price target of 1520. There has been clearly a negative crossover of key moving averages. The overall setup is on the weakish side. DV's level is also a sell with a stop at 1102.5 with a target of 1040. And I think, very clearly it's getting into corrective setup, and my sense is that it's heading towards the 200-day average, which is around the 1040, 1030 mark. And finally, a buy on Rel Infra with a stop at 544 for a target of 585. Here I've chosen this stock as, one of the counterbalancing to the short positions on the markets. This has given some fresh intraday buy signals.
Okay, that is what Mitesh Thakkar is recommending this morning. But time to get in individual queries answered on the show. The first query for the day comes in on a stock which has gained very smartly. That's IFCI. We've got a live caller with us. Prabhu joins in on the phone line from Bangalore with his query on IFCI. Hi Prabhu, welcome to the show. What's your query?
Hi, I got IFCI shares of 1,000 at the price of 35.90. So I have a month or so to hold this stock. So what would be the target?
Well, let me first, let you know that this is not the best stock in terms of corporate governance. The chairman of this company is involved in all kinds of cases with CBI, FEMA, SHEMA, etc. So, the kind of rumors you hear every once in a while, now it's getting a banking license, now it's going to sell a strategic stake. That's really ruined retail investors. Maybe insiders are making a lot of money. Now that you are in the money, please keep a stop of about your break-even price. If you're lucky, you'll probably get 42, an outside chance of 49. But if I were you and I'm getting 42 from my price of about 35, 36, I wouldn't get too greedy here, because if you see the chart, it's volatile all over the place, 100, then 25, then 50, then 30. So overall, it hasn't created great amounts of wealth. It's a speculative stock, and please leave it at that.
All right, that was a word of advice coming in on an IFCI. I hope you've taken note of it, Prabhu. Move on to the second query for the day. This one comes in the form of an email, and it's been sent in by Mehul from Mumbai. Now, he wants to know whether he can buy into an MT Educare at current levels. Ashwini, this stock is, of course, perking up in today's session, but would you advise him to buy?
You see, prima facie, this is a new stock, and it's crossed its listing highs and is trading well above that. So that's strong because, nobody is a loser yet in this stock. If you bought at any level in the last 1 year, you have made money. But clearly you need to have a clear stop here about 125. And chances are that if this uptrend that is on continues, you could easily see targets about 160, but please have a stop in place, because these sort of stocks, often can turn on a dime. But clearly it's in an uptrend, and that's a good stock to get into.
Okay, important to keep that stop loss at 125. Upside target on the counter is 160. Away from MT Educare to our last and final query for the day, which comes in via email from Muscat from Mr. Verghese AK. Now, he wants to know if he should buy the stock Berger Paints its current levels. He's got a time horizon of the next 1 to 2 years.
Well, again, Berger Paints is a stock which since 2009 has seen a steady move from $30 to about 160. Now, in this sort of a stock, the problem is that once something has moved 5 times in the last 3 years, you need to time your entry very properly. And since you have a time horizon of about 1 to 2 years, you need to buy it at a longer term support, which is around the 200-day moving average, which is at about 135. Now, you need to wait for those levels if you have to take a 1 to 2 year view. If you buy right now, odds are that whenever the market starts a correction, the stock comes back to 130, 135, and then you are left holding the stock 20% higher. So for a longer term view, you need to buy it around the 200-day moving average, that's 135. Keep a 10 rupee stop below that. So in case the longer term trend starts changing, you lose only $10. But in case the longer term trend reinforces, I think you should look for targets about 180.
35 is the critical buying level for a Berger Paints. Remember, the stock, of course, is trading close to its all-time highs. But a reminder before we move ahead with the show that if you act on any of the advice that's been given, please consult your investment advisor before doing so. we've got, of course, both the frontliners as well as the broader markets that are under pressure right now. We've got the mid-cap index that's lost about 1/3%. And what's driving it low are some of the movers from yesterday. So in India Bulls financials, which are done very well, is off by close to 2.5% in the session right now. We've got a GMR Infra after it sent in a notification to the exchanges about cancelling that 555-kilometer order. That's also down and out. Syntex Industries ahead of its numbers is looking wobbly, as is an Oil India as well as a Thermax. But we've still got a couple of names on the gaining side. Primarily, we've got an Antec Auto that's risen by close to 3%, and Glenmark Pharma that's at 536 right now.
Okay, markets looking weak and the Bank Nifty off by 36 points, not helping anything. Well, on that note, let's get in Kunal Bothra and Dr. C.K. Narayan to identify their trading recommendations. Kunal, I'll start off with you. It's 3 buy calls.
Yes, 3 buy calls, but I think more important is it's just a stock pickers market. It's not a market where you can go all out and buy, probably any stock or any sort of sector. I think that is what the key for this market lies. Nifty is more or less into consolidation, so I think that trend would continue. I have 3 buying in my pick at this point. One is Praj Industries. I'm giving a buy with a current price of around 51.50. I'm giving a target of 56 with a stop loss of 48. I think this chart augurs very well. The volumes have been there. It's forming a sort of a rising support, and I believe that once the trend picks up from here and it breaks out of 51.5, 52 levels, I think you could see a very sharp momentum coming across. The second pick which I have is Fortis Healthcare. It's a surprising pick in terms of the pharma pack, but I think this stock is more or less consolidating, and today it's showing the first signs of slightly breaking out of that consolidation. You have volume probably backing up today, but I would be more interested if the volume backs up for a couple of days more. I'm looking at a target of 128 on Fortis, keeping a stop loss of 110 from the current levels of 116. The third pick which I have is on the IT side. I think Wipro is forming to be a very excellent chart. I've been recommending this or bullish on this stock right from 390, 385 odd levels, and I believe that even at current levels of 400, 403, the stock holds that momentum. You can have a very tight stop loss of 395, but I'm looking at a first target of 420, and I think if that gets achieved, the broader pattern indicates that it can touch levels of 440 and 450 as well. So these are the 3 long picks from my side today, Avan.
Okay, so Praj Industries, Fortis and Wipro is what Kunal's recommending buying in for further upside. And Dr. Narayan, 2 out of 3 of your picks are also buying ideas.
Yeah, first recommendation that I have is to go long in Zee Limited at the current price of around 225 to 26, keeping a stop loss at about 220 and looking for a target at 235. Stock is into a nice firm uptrend and it has pulled back. It's forming a series of higher tops and bottoms, and the most recent low from where the uptrend got launched was about 220 to 222. So with a stop loss placed below that, I would like to go long at the current level for a continued uptrend. The second one I have is a short in Raymond. We are seeing a slight unusual pattern of a slight rounding kind of situation, which smacks of some amount of localized distribution, which has actually gone on the charts. So at the current price of about 445, I would suggest that this should be sold into with a stop loss at about 452.53 and looking for a target around 430, where the next support in the form of a support trend line exists. The third stock I have for recommendation is to go long in Pantaloon Retail, where a very firm uptrend is clearly in progress, and periodic pullbacks and uptrend should be used to buy. Such a pullback would occur if the prices were to drop down to the range of 257 to 260. So any drop into this region should be used to buy, and we can keep a 5 rupee stop loss from our entry point, and the immediate target that I'm looking at would be somewhere in the region of 275 to 280.
Okay, those are some trading recommendations coming in from Kunal Bothra as well as Dr. C.K. Pointed out, it's a pretty soft day, not just for the benchmarks, but the broader markets also in tandem. As we speak, the small cap index is off by 0.4% and grinding lower. So you can see the pace of the fall being rather exaggerated in the past few moments. Let's pull up some of the big losers in trade today then. You do have the likes of UB Holdings on the back of the news that Diageo may have to push back that open offer down by 5.3%. Apart from that, take a look at Sujana Tars, close to the lowest point of the day at 5.9. Not really worth mentioning given the small base. Consolidated Construction Consortium, that counter too, for I think the second or third day on the chart, is in the red. Apart from that, Shrey Infrastructure down and out by close to 3.5%, and you also have a Jayashree Tea which is in the red. But on the gaining side, you've got Ashanti Gears. That counter is holding up very smartly in the green as we speak. Apart from that, select jewelry counter. So you've got a Sri Ganesh jewelry, which is popping up very smartly. So as we speak, it's at 135. You've got an M&B switch gears also holding up in the green. And take a look at some education counters which are holding up. So an MT Educare has hit a new high of 142. Apart from that, you've also got a Treehouse Education, which hit a new high of 295.
Okay, so education clearly seems to be the sector for the day, it seems. But time to chat with Rajat as well as Deepak to get their trading recommendations right now. And Rajat, you're recommending some shorts on the Nifty as well as the banking counters aren't looking that good either.
Yeah, it is the case. I mean, if you look at the Bank Nifty, then you will find that in the last 3 trading sessions, it has recorded 2 similar tops at 12,837, and most of the banking stocks are suggesting that there is at least a course correction that is awaiting. And if you look at the index also, index is giving a clear signal that some kind of a correction is in order. The Nifty for the last 3 consecutive sessions posted black bodies, meaning that the opens had been higher than the closes, and yesterday it fell below 6,000. So the Nifty index itself calls for a short call. Sell Nifty futures, that is the January futures, at a minor rally. When I say minor rally, I mean anywhere between 6,000 and 6,020, and put a stop above 6045. Your targets are 5965, 5949 and 5935. The idea here is that the risk-reward ratio for this trade should be 1:2 to about 1:3. 1:3 is the best case scenario, and carry the trade for tomorrow unless the stop triggers above 6045, which to my mind is pretty unlikely. And as I said that the banking stocks are looking weak, I find that ICICI Bank is likely to go down further. Sell it with a stop above 1181, and the target could be 1166. If it goes further down, then you might see 1162 to about 1156. Again, the same idea holds, that it is roughly 1:2 kind of a trade, considering the first target of 1166, the risk reward ratio. And the lone buy call, it is more of a hedge against the 2 short calls that I have used. It is Dr. Reddy, which is showing some kind of momentum on the upside. Of course, it has come down nearly 1% from the day's top, but still I feel that you can put a stop loss below 1905, and possibly the retest of the day's high around 1922 could be there. Beyond that, 1929 and 1934 would be the targets. But if the market were to show wobbliness further, then it would be better if the first target is hit and you book your profits there. So 2 sell calls and 1 hedge buy call.
In the form of a defensive on Dr. Reddy's with an upside target of 1922. Prudent to also check in on the intraday chart of a Wockhardt, which has received the US FDA approval for an anticonvulsant drug, Lamictal XR, which it has in fact launched the generic version of the same. Remember, this is your multi-bagger stock, which over the last 1 year has given you a return of 500% and a good news auguring well for it, but the stock not really reacting. So at 1658 on last count. Let's move away from that, go straight to Deepak Mohani to find out what he's recommending on Traders 20. Deepak, Rajat just spoke about a correction that's inevitable. Would you share the same view, and what are your top trading picks?
Well, yeah, the market has been going up since the 20th of November, so it's what you might say due for a correction, but as to whether it's already started, I think it's a little early to tell, but there are sufficient stocks which appear good for short selling as well as buying. So I've got a mix, two buys and a short sell. The first of the buys is in Glenmark Pharma. Pharmas tend to go up, or some pharmas anyway, even when the market falls. And this stock is showing some strength, so it should be okay either way, whatever happens to the market. This is a buy with a stop loss of 530, target of 560. It's resumed a move today after a 2-week correction, good entry point for the stock. Yes Bank is the other buy. This actually made a pretty strong move yesterday, went up to an all-time high. It had dipped a little bit in the morning, but it started climbing up. It's now close to the session high. So good point to get in. This is a buy with a stop loss of 492 and a target of 517. The one short sale is a day trade. Jubilant Foodworks, stop loss of 1325, target of 1276. This stock, at least for quite a while now, has lost the fizz it had earlier. and right now it's down to a 1-week low, and this is anyway a pure intraday trade.
Okay, short of Jubilant Foodworks and look at buying into a Yes Bank and a Glenmark Pharma. Thanks very much, Deepa, for giving us those recommendations. With that, of course, we wrap up our equity trading ideas, but let's touch base with our commodities editor, Manisha Gupta, to get your sense of what's happening in this particular pocket. Manisha, equities are looking like they're under pressure, but I believe commodities, whether it's gold or oil, both of them are doing good.
Well, yes, steady to slightly positive moves is what you have seen in commodities, starting with gold first, and that one is off its 4-month lows. You did see those levels of 1625 in the previous week, so we have come a long way from there. The strength in euro, also the Asian physical buying at lower prices is something that really is supportive. Of course, there are some dampening stories also coming in. Fed may end monthly purchases of US debt is something. That news continues to put pressure on most of those asset classes. To crude prices, and we have seen strength come back into that one as well. The strength in euro really doing wonders there. And also the sentiment that you might see a decline in the US inventories on a weekly basis is something that has been supportive as well. So around 0.25% of gains coming in for that space as well. The base metal prices really are working as per their individual fundamentals. There are reports of Dow Jones UBS cutting weightage for a couple of metals like aluminum. They have cut weightage onto that one from 5.9% to 4.9%. So there have been selling happening into that one. Same is the case with zinc as well. The weightage for this one has been cut to 2.5% from 3.4% for this year, and that really has led to selling into this one as well. In base metals, you have seen copper prices though continue to trade quite steady near those 2-month highs of $8,000 per ton, and you might see continuous support coming in depending upon what kind of Chinese export and trade numbers you get to hear in the market this week itself. How do you trade all of them? For that, let's go across to Hitesh Jain from IIFL, and he joins us live on the show. Hitesh, hi, let's start with crude first, and some stability consolidation coming in for that one. Do you think it's good time to start buying into that?
See, oil prices remain well supported by the expansion of the Seaway pipeline oil capacity in the United States, wherein the problem of supply glut is expected to ease at the Cushing port, which is a strategic storage hub for WTI crude oil. And effectively, WTI crude oil prices have found good support around 92.3 or 92.5 per barrel, and are trading well above $93 per barrel, and are well poised to retest the highs of 94 per barrel. Once the prices reach 94 per barrel, we can look a high of $96 per barrel as well. For today, I think we would prefer to buy crude oil January contract around 5140, a bit on the dips, 20 rupees down on the dips, with a target of 5,200 and a stop loss of 5,100.
Hitesh, today seems to be a stronger day on strong euro and China prospects as well. How would you look at the base metal sector in that light?
See, in spite of the recent volatility in the complex as a whole, where we saw highs and lows, copper prices have done really well to sustain above the psychological levels of $8,000 per barrel. And the flow of macroeconomic numbers from China has also been supportive. So we would prefer to buy copper around 451 levels. And for today, the trading strategy is simple. We can buy copper Feb contract at 451 with a target of 456 and a stop loss of 448.
All right, so bullish going and 2 buy calls coming in from IIFL. Hitesh, thank you so much for joining us. You can buy crude and copper and trade your day-to-day in case of commodities. With that, it's back to you, Avan.
Thanks very much, Manisha, for coming on board and giving us all of those top commodity trading ideas. On that note, let's also give you a disclaimer from our end. Please do consult your financial advisor if you just take on board any positions in the stocks recommended. Thanks very much to our 6 technical experts for joining in and walking us through their trading recommendations.